It's the 6A TAPS Girls State Semifinals. St. Agnes Academy, the Tigers, and the number 1, the Village School Vikings, on the right half of the bracket in TAPS 6A State Playoffs. From University High School in Waco, Texas, Mike Leslie and Matt Tarbutton here with you for game number 3 of the day on TAPS TV. One of 36 games this weekend between the boys and the girls to settle out 6 state championships on either side. 12 state semifinals for both the boys and girls, 6 state championships for both the boys and girls. And this is our 3rd game of the day here at University High School. Featuring the number 1 team in the state of Texas in 6A, the Village School Vikings, 35-3 on the year, against a team in St. Agnes Academy that was the number 4 seed out of that same district, District 4, went 20-17 on the year. But looking to knock off a team in the Village School that was the number 1 seed in the district and is a juggernaut. Matt Tarbutton, their task is rather difficult today.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They've got very athletic and very good-sized team in the Village School, so they're going to have to really play well and play as mistake-free as possible to stay in this game with them.
They met a month ago, and the Village School won 74-21. Backdoor feed. Layup missed, though. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Timberland Criswell couldn't finish. The junior point guard. She'll key the inbound here, 20 seconds in. That's Jada Malone, one of the top players in the entire country in the junior class. Misses the layup, and then a foul underneath. And she'll head to the free throw line for 2. Malone, the number 36 ranked junior in the entire country, according to ESPN's recruiting service.
Yeah, Malone's definitely got the size. She's got the athletic ability. She's got the handles, and then obviously post moves around the basket. So she's going to be a lot for St. Agnes to handle. So she's really going to have a good game. And St. Agnes is going to have to try to limit her as she makes his first free throw.
On the season, Malone averaging 17 points and 11 rebounds a game. And she hits both free throws to get things started here in the 6A semifinals. Village School coming up tempo down the floor as Natalie Mesa handles top of the key. Abby Lord kicking it up top for Ella Smith. Abby Lord, Ella Smith, Chinello Ume, Jordan Jones, and Natalie Mesa, the 5 starters for St. Agnes Academy. Emily Dogbatsy, Timberland Criswell, Sydney Ward, Aiken Simones, and Jada Malone, the 5 starters for the number 1, the Village School. And now a steal here is stepping in front of it is Dogbatsy. 1-on-2 down the floor, and she lays it in.
Yeah, great steal there on defense. Good anticipation. Way to finish with the left.
Ella Smith down the floor. Nice feed for Ume, who lays it in.
Good pass there on the fast break.
Quickly up the floor comes Sydney Ward down the lane. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Head coaches today for St. Agnes Academy, Jeffrey Hollinger. And for the Village School, Doug Brotherton in his 8th year. 189-68 in that span, Brotherton is. 39-5 a year ago. They lost in the 6A state championship game against Bishop Lynch. This year, 35-3 as the layup is up and good from Sydney Ward, and it's an early 6-2 edge.
Village School employing a 2-2-1 press, trying to get some bad passes.
Cross court for Jordan Jones. She can't quite corral it, but they maintain possession. Smith up top, long 3 on the way. Ricochets off the right-hand side of the 10 for Abby Lord. And here comes TVS. Criswell. Patient, crossover, lefty layup, all net.
Yeah, the guards for the Village School are very athletic. Great job getting to the basket and finish. St. Agnes is going to have to try to find something to do to stop them.
Racing down the floor comes Mesa. She can't finish the layup. Trying to tip it away from behind. She does. Loose ball on the deck. Fought for by 4 players. Jump ball will keep it on this end for St. Agnes Academy. St. Agnes with a 48-42 win over Concordia Lutheran in the regional final. That came after knocking off the number 1 seed out of District 3, Antonian College Prep. in the area round.
Yeah, they've had to go through a tough road to get here, and it's even tougher playing against the Village School. Great
Nice move underneath.
My goodness, great move there.
Jordan
by number
Jones.
50. Nice
Jones
up and
with
under.
the finish. Jeffrey Hollinger says she's very raw but very talented. That is supreme from Timberland Criswell, high off the glass and the foul. Criswell only a junior but has a Division I offer on the table, averages 11 points and 6 rebounds a game for the Vikings. Already has 4, a chance to make it 5 in the early going, and she does.
Yeah, if you're St. Agnes, you've got to find a way to stop this offense. They're scoring at will.
Ella Smith has it tipped up in the air and stolen away by the Village School. In transition, Criswell knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Nice hands underneath by Natalie Mesa to strip it away. Just about 3 minutes in here to the 6A state semifinal. The Village School, meanwhile, a 78-31 win over Incarnate Word in the regional final to get here to the state semis. 3 seconds in the lane, whistled against Jada Malone, and that'll turn it over to St. Agnes. That came after a 83-20 win over St. Mary's Hall in the area round. So the Village School, a string of blowouts much of this season, and 2 of them so far in the playoffs. Ball knocked out of bounds, last touched by St. Agnes, and it will go back to the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings have been very aggressive on defense, doing a great job getting their hands in the passing lane, really making it difficult for St. Agnes to really get anything going outside of a fast break or 2.
On the left wing, it's Aiken Simones firing for 3, whistle away from the basketball. It'll stay on this end, a foul against St. Agnes. Goes against Chinelo Ume. Ume, a junior forward. Jeffrey Hollinger says she's extremely quick, and she's the one who will guard the opponent's best player. The problem is when you're playing the Village School, take your pick. There's a couple of different options that you could throw your best defender against, and now a foul underneath as they all jump for the basketball. Jada Malone drawing the foul.
Yeah, you've got 3 guards that can really play. Obviously a post and Malone, that's one of the top in the country. You really got to be able to pick your poison here.
Malone able to track it down, gets the layup up, but draws the foul.
She's, with her size and her ability, she's going to get hammered every time she goes to the basket.
Yeah.
If she can continue to make free throws, it's going to be tough to stop.
Isabel Wynn just into the ball game for St. Agnes Academy, as the free throw rolls off the front iron for Jada Malone. Second free throw misses as well, and St. Agnes down with the rebound. Jeffrey Hollinger, their head coach, said they're playing with house money at this point. They didn't really expect to be at this point this year, but these girls have really come together nicely as that one gets swatted away by Malone. Lots of contact between 2 St. Agnes players, and that leads to a turnover and a run out here for the Village School, but the layup is missed by Ward.
That was a crazy 30 seconds, that's for sure.
No doubt. Ella Smith bringing it back the other way for St. Agnes, puts it high off the glass and finishes.
Great job at attacking Malone there, trying to force her to give up an easy foul. Malone disciplined enough not to do it, though.
Nice crossover by Criswell, and she gets to the basket easily.
Beautiful finish with the left hand.
She's got 7 already, but back the other way comes St. Agnes. In transition, layup missed. Give it back for Ellie Cannon, and they're able to find the bottom.
Even though St. Agnes is, pretty overmatched here in this game, they're still fighting. They're only down 5.
Criswell knifing through the lane. Wynn in the corner. Back up top. Ellie Cannon into the lane. Misses the layup short. Loose ball, though, in the backcourt. Lots of contact. No whistle, and now a jump ball called. Possession arrow to the Village School. The Vikings on the year 35-3. Their only losses have come against some of the best teams in the entire country. They lost to a Duncanville team that is number 6 in the nation out of the DFW area. A top 50 program in the nation in 35-2 Amarillo High School. Nice look underneath, and Criswell lays it in. She's off to a fantastic start, and it's 17-8. And their third loss came against a top 5 team in the state of Arkansas, Conway High School. So they have played a ridiculous schedule this year, and they've won 35 out of 38 games. Ball knocked out of bounds on the baseline. It'll stay on that end for St. Agnes.
Yeah, as a coach, you definitely want to make sure your team's well prepared and, ready to go for these situations. With a schedule like that, Village is definitely prepared for the big stage.
They try to find an open person underneath in Jordan Jones, but it's ripped away. And here come the Vikings once again. Criswell in transition. They slow it down with Malone, try to find an open person underneath. Criswell saves it back in bounds, but St. Agnes with the turnover. Ellis Smith, top of the key. Baseline up and under move here from Isabel Wynn, and she draws the foul. She'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Wynn hits the first, and the second rolls in as well. Cuts the lead down to 7. Just into the basketball game, number 00, Riley Grays, only a freshman. She's 6'3", as Criswell just continues to eat St. Agnes alive. She's got 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 in the first quarter alone. Nice find underneath, and the layup goes for Natalie Mesa to keep it a 7-point game. Now a turnover here as Mesa comes away with the steal and draws the foul, as it's Graves who commits the foul.
And St. Agnes, even though, as we said, they're pretty overmatched in this game, still fighting, only down 7 here. With about a little over a minute and a half left to go in this first quarter.
I said it before. Hollinger talked about it before the game. He said, we're playing with house money. And when you have that kind of freedom, you can play loose, nothing to worry about. This is like an extra game for them. As they turn it over here as Jones throws it away. But they're playing loose. They're not, there really aren't any nerves because there's no real need for there to be any nerves. Nobody expects them to win this game as Criswell just continues to do it to them. 15 in the first quarter for Timberland Criswell.
Yeah, she's doing great. Can finish with both hands. Great defender.
And a travel at the top of the key as Ellis Smith was a little too quick with the footwork.
I think a lot of people see this Village team and they think it's, mainly the Jada Malone show, but their guards they're just as good as Malone.
And they are deep and they are young. Emily Dogbatzi is the only senior on the roster for the number 1 team in the state. Criswell's only a junior. Jada Malone's only a junior. Sydney Ward only a sophomore. Big block inside. Natalie Mesa turning it away. And down on the deck for the Village School is Criswell. Slow to get up, but she's back on her feet.
Good to see her get back up, ready to play.
Timeout called by Doug Brotherton. Criswell has been electric in this first quarter, but that was a sensational defensive play by Natalie Mesa. Jeffrey Hollinger calls her their on-court leader and kind of marvels at her physical play. We saw a little bit of that right there as she turned away Criswell, who's had the best quarter of play that we've seen from anybody through a little over 2 games worth.
Yeah, she's done a great job really scoring, getting to the basket at will, able to take it out, take it to the basket with either hand. Really accomplished guard, and only being a junior, she's definitely got a bright future ahead of her.
It'll be a baseline inbound for the Village School. 34.8 to play first quarter. And a 21-12 start for the Village School, but they turn it over here. It's Ellie Cannon coming away with the basketball. Up ahead, it's Mesa. In transition, St. Agnes trying to carve into the lead. Ball knocked away. Smith comes back with it, and she draws the foul. Beg your pardon, it's Ellie Cannon. And she'll head to the free throw line for 2 with a chance to cut the lead to 7. First free throw falls.
St. Agnes definitely hustling hard. Definitely don't have the size or speed advantage, but that's not letting them hold back. They're going to leave it all out here on the table.
I mean, think about the last time they played, January 31st, the Village School won by 53. It's an 8-point game right now. Granted, it's late first quarter. There's a long way to go. But credit to St. Agnes for playing as hard as they are, cutting the lead now down to 7 late here in the first quarter. It'll be Sydney Ward to bring it across the timeline. 18 to play in this first quarter. Gives to Dog Batsy. Now Simones. Under 10 to play. Hounded by Natalie Mesa, and a foul call that Jeffrey Hollinger cannot believe. John Woods, Simona Sandoval, and Daryl Calhoun are 3 officials today. Woods, the crew chief. Nice feed underneath for the easy layup for Jada Malone. 2 seconds to play. Heaving at the quarter buzzer is Natalie Mesa. 23-14 the score after 1 quarter of play. And we'll be back on TAPS TV.
Aiden loves playing baseball. He's in his element when he picks up a baseball bat.
When Aiden tore his ACL last year, we were all devastated. We didn't think that a 13-year-old could have a problem such as that.
Children's Health Andrews Institute for Orthopedic and Sports Medicine not only repaired Aiden's ACL, but they gave him the knowledge and skills to prevent any future injuries.
Now, less than a year later, he's back to hitting homers and doing phenomenal.
Back at University High School in Waco, Texas, Mike Leslie and Matt Tarbutton here with you on TAPS TV. Second quarter action just moments away between St. Agnes Academy and the number 1 team in the state in 6A girls basketball, the Village School Vikings. 35-3 on the year, and with a 23-14 lead after 1 quarter of play behind 15 first quarter points from junior point guard Timberland Criswell, who's back out on the floor here to start quarter number 2. A fantastic start for Criswell, who averages 11 points per game. We just lost something there. We just lost our crowd noise. I don't know what got unplugged there, but we're going to want to double check that. As up the floor comes St. Agnes. 3-pointer on the way is buried, and the lead is down to 6 as Natalie Mesa hits the 3. There we go. Whatever just got plugged back in. We now have our crowd noise back as the ball's tipped around underneath off the missed three. Knocked out of bounds, last touched by St. Agnes. It'll stay on that end. Maybe we can turn the crowd noise down a little bit. That might be a smart play. As the cross-court feed goes to Sydney Ward. Back up top for Criswell. Lefty layup won't go in the lane. Rebound pulled down by St. Agnes.
See if that's better. There we go.
1 minute gone by here in the second quarter, and look at St. Agnes Academy. Nice move in the lane there by Ella Smith, but she can't finish. Rebound pulled down by the Village School, and a timeout called by Doug Brotherton. It is a 6-point game between two teams that, when they played a month ago, it was a 74-21 final score in favor of the Village School. They lead by 6.
Well, what St. Agnes is doing well right now is they're continuing to attack. No matter if shots are falling or not, they're continuing to attack offensively, defensively. They're getting some good shots. They're able to get some plays in transition. If they can continue to, attack, anything can happen. I think the biggest thing for them is, as long as the Village doesn't really get, like a 10, 15-0 run, if that happens, they can get away from them. But if they can just stick on it, they'll be all right. It's just kind of like what Jim Belvano used to say, with old NC State Wolfpack. Just kind of hang around a little bit, get towards the end, maybe pull it out, So we'll just have to see. I mean, that's why we play the game. Looking at the Village School, looking at their schedule, you're like, this game's going to be a rollover. But don't tell St. Agnes that.
This was not the team that Jeffrey Hollinger expected to make it to the Final Four. Last year's team, he said they were loaded. 4 of their 9 seniors scored over 1,000 points in their career. Lost last year in the regional final at the buzzer against Incarnate Word, 55-53. This year's team had their best player, Sammy Myers, get hurt, tore ACL earlier this year. Despite all of that, here they are, and now a huge defensive stop as they draw the 3-second call. I don't know if it was a 3-second call or a 5-second call. I didn't see the signal from the official. Either way, defensive pressure from St. Agnes creates the turnover, and down 6, here they come once again. The Village School trying to trap here in the corner. They've got them trapped. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by St. Agnes. Vikings ball.
Village doing a great job trapping, using that sideline as an extra defender. Definitely what you want to see your girls do, especially, with this St. Agnes team trying to surge and catch up.
Criswell getting signals from Brotherton. Now pulls up for 3. Rattles out. Rebound pulled down underneath by Malone. The putback won't go. Another offensive board, and this time she finishes.
Malone does a great job using size to her advantage, being physical down low, able to get the putback.
Ella Smith in transition. Nice feed underneath. Big block by Criswell.
There's no shortage of athleticism on this on this floor today by either school. Definitely hustling for every single play.
Nice catch on the inbounds pass by Ella Smith. Gets into the lane, draws the foul.
Going to go against number 13 for the Village School. It's going to be Anastasia.
Feed up top for Isabel Wynn. And now across for Ella Smith. Mesa, left side of the lane, swatted away, but a foul. Jada Malone was all ball up top, but they say they got her with the body underneath. And Mesa will head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Well, a lot of time, you especially want to teach young post players. Not saying she's young, she's 17-year-old junior that's obviously getting recruited well all over the country. But you always want to tell your post players you never want to swipe across at it. You always just want to go straight up, And she's already blocked several already, so she knows what to do, but you just kind of, you get aggressive. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to send this to the rafters. You just got to be careful. You don't want to get, too many fouls, because we saw in the 4A game, dominant post player goes out, it really hurts your chances.
1 of 2 at the free throw line for Mesa, lead down to 7. Spinning into the lane is Ward. Kick out, three-pointer on the way for Dog Batsy, rims off the back iron. And here comes Mesa once again. Up ahead for Smith, and she traveled with it. She knew it as she turned around, too.
A little over 5 minutes. A little over 5 minutes left to go. Village, they can get some, points in a row, like 10 or so in a row. I think they can really break this open, but St. Agnes is hanging tough on defense.
Off the left side of the iron there for Criswell. She hasn't been quite as hot here in the second quarter. Nice feed up ahead. Layup won't go in transition. Putback won't go either. Another chance at it. That won't go either. Chanello Ume had a couple chances at it, but couldn't find the bottom, and here comes Criswell. In transition, gets it to go.
Impressive. Way to finish.
17 now on the day for Timberland Criswell. In the corner. Win. Baseline. Triple teamed. Tied up. And it's a jump ball that'll keep it on this end. The Win just dribbled right into traffic there, right into trouble.
Yeah, the Village defense really did a great job clamping down. That's what you want to do against a post player, especially if they're not paying attention.
Win off the inbounds pass, has it blocked away. Knocked out of bounds by Sydney Ward. It'll stay on this end.
Yeah, second chance buckets have been huge for both of these teams. If one of them wants to pull away, they're really going to have to limit those second chance possibilities.
Win off the inbounds pass. This time she finishes. Criswell up ahead. Nice catch. Blocked, but a foul on Jordan Jones. No, they're going to say it was knocked out of bounds. No foul.
I think they actually called a travel against Malone on that one.
And it stays a 7-point edge as a result. Now a feed underneath, wide open for the layup. It's a 5-point game.
The beautiful backdoor cut there by the Tigers. Great job finding her, being able to finish. That was beautiful.
Chanello Ume was wide open underneath. Now Criswell trying to answer with a three. Misses short, and a foul underneath on Jada Malone. That's going to be, I believe, the 7th of the half against the Village School. It's at least the 6th.
What I'd really
the next one will be 1-1.
What I'd really like to see from the Village going forward, I'd like to see some better ball movement from them. Obviously, they've got some great one-on-one players, especially with Criswell and Malone. But if they can really get some great ball movement, force St. Agnes to play defense in space, I think that could really help them.
Cross court and a moving screen will be whistled against St. Agnes.
Village doing a great job being active on defense, forcing them to use an illegal screen, giving them the ball back.
That's the 7th team foul of the half against St. Agnes, but as an offensive foul, it does not necessitate the 1-and-1 free throws. 3:36, and the clock was not running there for a moment. And credit to these officials, they recognized it quicker than the officials in the previous game. Simona Sandoval talking with the scorer's table. They'll run it down to 3:32. And the Village School will key it in from directly in front of us. Criswell and the Vikings lead by only 5. Underneath, knocked away. They tried to find the freshman Grays, and it's tipped away. Long pass up ahead over the outstretched fingertips of Natalie Mesa and out of bounds. Beg your pardon, it was Ume that they were trying to find. Mesa made the pass.
Still only a 5-point game. Let's see if Village can pull away here. Get some points on the board.
Criswell to the tin. Can't get the layup to go. Some contact underneath, but no foul. Ellis Smith back the other way. Pull up three. Misses long. Looked really good from our angle, but it was too long. It was straight on line. Now a tip away on the far side, and Natalie Mesa couldn't quite chase it down, but it'll... And
excellent
just
hustle,
look,
though.
I don't know what our camera angle is showing at the moment, but just look at the reaction from Jeffrey Hollinger and the St. Agnes bench and fan section. They are fired up. If you knew anything about these two teams coming in and just happened to be walking into the gym right now and saw 27-22, now 30-22, as Criswell now has 20 in the first half, you'd look at the scoreboard even now at 30-22 and go, what?
Yeah, it's huge difference from when they played in district last. Almost a 40, 50-point ball game at that time. They're doing a great job of really, taking it to them, not backing down.
74-21 was the score the last time they played in late January. It is an 8-point game, late second quarter. St. Agnes has played outstanding basketball through the first half of play. Cross court, nice steal by Criswell. Showing off the athleticism, but now throws it away as Ellis Smith comes back to take it away. Smith into the lane, up and under, can't finish. Rebound gets tipped back to her. Smith inside, jumper goes for Abby Lord.
See if Criswell can keep them scoring. She's been their go-to all game
I wouldn't give her
long.
that three. She can't finish, but Grays with the rebound. And the putback goes.
Great play by the freshman. Way to be physical down low, get the rebound, put her right back up.
Riley Grays, the 6'3 freshman, with off-the-charts potential, according to Doug Brotherton. Seeing a little bit of it right there as she gets the putback to go to make it an 8-point game. Now missing short is Natalie Mesa. May have been tipped on its way there. Criswell. Hesitation, down the lane, layup goes. She's got 22 in the first half.
10-point lead for the Vikings.
Final minute of play, first half. Ellis Smith to bring it across the timeline. They've worked so hard to get to this point, need to finish the half strong. A big block inside by Grays. Loose ball on the deck, corralled by Criswell. Now a foul in the backcourt. And I believe that's going to send Grays to the free throw line to shoot 1 and 1. St. Agnes had it as close as 5 at 27-22. But a 7-2 spurt here for the Village School to open up a 10-point lead and a chance to add to it here for Grays.
Graves is doing well as a freshman for sure. I don't know how many 6'3 freshmen
I don't
you've
know
got
why everybody
sitting
ran
around.
away. It's a 1 and 1. She made the first.
Yeah.
She gets a second.
But I don't have any freshmen walking around my school looking like that. So
Nope.
definitely got some real athletes over there at the Village School. And they're putting on a show here in this semifinal game.
She hits 1 of 2, lead to 11, 40 seconds to play first half. St. Agnes would really like a bucket here before halftime to try and keep it in single digits at the break. Just a mental edge, if nothing else. Smith crossing over at the top of the key. Down the right side of the lane, high off the glass, misses long. Grays down with the rebound, throws it back in bounds, right back to St. Agnes. The putback won't go. Smith back with it. She can't hit. 8 seconds to play. Criswell off the rebound. 5 seconds, up ahead for Grays. Lefty layup won't go. Rebound, and time expires on the first half. 35-24, the score after one half of play. Credit to the Village School for going on a little bit of a spurt there to open it up to a slightly more comfortable margin, but huge credit to St. Agnes for playing, frankly, way over their head through one half of play.
Oh, for sure. If you're Coach Hollinger from St. Agnes, you're ecstatic right now. Only down 11 to a team that, just on paper has more talent. But a lot of times it doesn't come down to how much talent you have, but how much heart you got. And St. Agnes has definitely shown it. Now, Village isn't playing soft or playing easy.
No.
They just need to be able to make some more shots, get some more stops defensively.
Really, Criswell's the only one who's hitting. Everybody else is not really on offensively.
Yeah, so if they can really get other people going, if they can get some stops, this could, kind of get away in the second half.
22 points from Timberland Criswell to lead the way for the Village School. But it's a basketball game. 35-24, the Village School, the number one team in the state in 6A, leads St. Agnes at halftime of the 6A state semifinal. We'll be back on TAPS TV. Back at University High School in Waco, Texas, Mike Leslie and Matt Tarbutton here with you for second half action. St. Agnes Academy in the Village School. 6A state semifinal for TAPS girls basketball. 22 first half points from Timberland Criswell to lead the way for the Village School as they lead 35-24 after the first half. 7 points from Natalie Mesa leads the way for St. Agnes Academy. 16 minutes to play here in the 6A state semifinal between two teams that played a 74-21 the Village School win just a month ago. But here St. Agnes is giving them a legitimate challenge for the number one team in the state. Nice catch inside off the tip, but not able to finish is Sydney Ward. Well defended by Abby Lord, and here comes St. Agnes trying to carve into the lead, but stepping on the end line is Chinelo Ume.
St. Agnes is doing a great job continuing to attack offensively and defensively. Just can't really make, too many mistakes and really have to limit Criswell in the second half. Obviously working it around, trying to get a good look at the basket.
Simones with it. Now back to Criswell. Guarded by Ellis Smith. Criswell down the lane. Can't finish, but a foul. I'm not sure if it was on the shot or if it was away from the play.
It's going to go against number 3, Abby Lord.
She can't believe it as she walks down the floor. Criswell already with 22 on the day. A chance to add to it with 2 free throws and hits the first. Second goes as well. And the lead as large as it's been all day, now at 13. And now a steal in the backcourt. Tipped away. Nice feed underneath. And it's Criswell again.
Excellent job there by the Vikings to really get that ball up the floor.
Simones made the steal, and now Criswell with another.
Very active on the defensive end for sure.
Criswell, pull up, gives to Ward down the lane. Layup won't go, but the offensive board, another rebound. This time it's Ward finishing.
Problem is for St. Agnes, they have to devote 2 or 3 people to box out Malone and leaving the front side wide open.
You can just imagine during halftime, Doug Brotherton said, okay, enough of this. We're putting a press on, and we're going to make him turn the ball over. Up the floor quickly, but missing the layup was Mesa, and here comes Dog Batsy. Down the lane, pull up, gets the runner to go.
Great job of using defense to create offense. Way to get the steal, finish at the other end.
An 8-0 spurt from the Village School to start the second half, and that forces Jeffrey Hollinger to call timeout. In some ways, you knew it was coming. Whether it was necessarily to start the third quarter or not was, left to your best guess, but the Village School has so much talent. There's a reason that they're number one in the state in 6A. There's a reason why they've gone 35-3 this year. And frankly, there's a reason why they won 74-21 when these two teams played a month ago. So inevitably, at some point, a run was coming. But they come out of the halftime break, guns blazing, 8-0 spurt, which really extends what was before halftime a 5-0 spurt. So now a 13-0 run spanning halftime for the Village School to open up what was a 30-24 lead to now 43-24.
Well, and you look at it, when these two teams play in district, it's probably their second game or first game of the week, just depending on when they played them. You don't have as much time to prepare as you would for this game. Obviously, these teams have about 3 or 4 days to a week to prepare. They've obviously played each other twice. So St. Agnes has a good game plan going in, but you can still only have to be able to execute it for a while.
Criswell with the steal. Ward, Simones, layup goes. It's 10-0 in the second half. The extended run spanning halftime now 15-0. Ellis Smith trying to slow it down. Baseline and a foul away from the basketball. It's going to go against Isabel Wynn.
And the problem with St. Agnes offensively right now is they are trying to go one-on-one, ISO basketball. That's not their game. Pass the ball, get a good look, just like you were doing in the first half. They're kind of switching roles. Village was very one-on-one isolation in the first half. Now they're sharing the ball. And St. Agnes, not so much anymore.
Ward spinning into the lane, can't finish. Foul on Ward on the rebound. Good fight from Wynn. You can't help but feel like the run that the Village School is on right now has all but ended the basketball game. But credit to St. Agnes. They're still playing hard, still running up and down the floor and trying to find a way to answer with a run of their own as Criswell Hedestein draws a foul, and she'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Good job, way to attack the basket, really be forceful in trying to get there because they've done a great job at the free throw line for the most part. And she's been able to really score it well. So excellent job there by the junior guard. Misses the first one.
She's got 26 now on the day. Averages 11 a game. She's long since cleared that, but misses both. Rebound, though, pulled down by Malone. And she's called for a travel.
Malone not happy with that call.
It has not been the best day for Jada Malone, frankly. 4 points so far today for a player who averages 17 and 11 rebounds.
And she's doing a good job rebounding and defensively, too. She just hadn't been able to score, but with the way Criswell's playing, can't really complain too much.
Well, and I mean, it's very clear that Jada Malone is extremely talented. She's been able to get to all of her spots on the floor. She can get wherever she wants to be. Just the shots aren't dropping. It's just that simple. But she's very clearly just as talented as she's advertised to be. We've got a discussion between John Woods and Daryl Calhoun right now, two of our officials trying to sort out what happened here.
Should be St. Agnes ball.
Certainly appears that will be the case as Natalie Mesa waits to key it in. They were sorting out the foul count. That's what we finally figured out. 2 fouls against St. Agnes, 1 second half foul against the Village School is what the scoreboard should read.
I think it should be 2 and 1, showing 3 and 1 on the scoreboard right now. But
now they're going to clear the floor and settle this a little bit more distinctly. Because apparently the scorer's table is trying to tell the officials that it should be 3 fouls against St. Agnes and 1 against the Village School. The officials are saying it should be 2 and 1.
Coaches are doing an excellent job coaching up their kids right now. You know, you take this time. Some people may
it's a free
sit.
timeout.
Yeah, I mean, some people may sit, just kind of relax. But both these coaches are doing a great job using their time wisely. They've been here before, you know, being able to use this time to get their teams better. I mean, it is Final Four, but still possibly got a game tomorrow. And a lot of these players, I mean, you look at it especially, let's see, out of the starters for both teams, only one's a senior. So there's a good chance they'll be back sometime in their careers.
So after all that, the scoreboard continues to show 3 fouls for St. Agnes, only 1 against the Village School here in the second half. So apparently the scorer's table won the argument. As up the floor comes St. Agnes, and they throw it away. Ume had the right idea, trying to find Wynn cutting on the back door, but The pass was a little behind her, and it goes back to the Village School, now up by 21 and still on this active 15-0 run as Criswell drives baseline in the corner. Ward pump fakes the three, goes to the hoop, kind of lost the ball on her way up on the layup.
I think she was probably anticipating some contact and didn't get it.
Ella Smith blocked. Jada Malone with the swat. And here comes Criswell in transition. Corner for Simones. Back up top for Criswell. Left alone. Ward. Criswell, nice move down the lane, but they're going to call her for the travel.
Nice move, but take one too many steps.
I'm not sure if she's just too athletic and people just don't believe. There's no way she could have done that with only 2 steps. I'm not certain she didn't. She is a spectacular athlete. Ume. Nice look. Layup goes for Jordan Jones.
Finally able to break that streak, get some points on the board.
But back the other way comes Riley Grays. My goodness. She's a 6'3" freshman, and she can run the floor like that? Are you kidding me?
That is impressive. No doubt about it.
She is a gazelle. That is frightening.
Village trying to get some defensive pressure here.
Past the midway point of quarter number 3, as TVS has seized control of this basketball game. They pushed Perales all the way out to the timeline. She was fortunate to stay on this side of half court. Now Mesa down the left side of the lane has it blocked. Went right into the waiting arms of Riley Grays. Ward was there defensively as well, and here comes Criswell. Dogbatsi into the lane for Grays, and she draws the foul.
Yeah, problem is here with St. Agnes, it's just getting a little out of hand. You know, they're not playing with the same, I don't know if it's poise. Poise probably is not the word, just the same acumen as they did in the first half, just, you know, working the ball around, playing good on defense. Now they're getting a little flustered, being a little bit too physical.
Just too easy for Jada Malone.
Yeah, they had it close in the first, but starting to get away from them a little bit. So
now Malone tips it away. Dogbatsi back to Malone. Cross court, Ward for 3, misses long. Nice rebound by Criswell on the far side. Her layup won't go. Still loose in the paint. And coming out of the pile is Sydney Ward. Nice look underneath. Riley Grays wide open, hit hard as she goes up, and she'll head to the free throw line.
Great job by the guard, looking forward down low into the post. Able to get a good look at the basket. Foul. See if she can earn them at the stripe.
First free throw misses off the front iron. Just imagine the future for this Vikings team. First of all, they're trying to break some history here. If they can win a state championship, of course they have to win today, then they would also have to win in the state championship game tomorrow. If they're able to accomplish that, though, as far as Doug Brotherton is to understand, as far as his research has found, the last Houston area team to win a title was St. Agnes in 1981, a 39-year drought. That's something the Village School is trying to snap. I guess you could say that's also something St. Agnes is trying to snap, but down 23 here in the third quarter. The Village School certainly with the better chance to snap that streak.
For sure. I mean, you definitely look at it over the last 10 years or so, and obviously even longer than that. The Dallas area, you know, especially, you know, Fort Worth, Dallas, Plano, those area schools, they've just been able to, I wouldn't say dominate, but just when it gets to the state tournament, they are able to excel. Village, as I said, is really just trying to break that streak as she makes the second of her free throws.
Lead up to 24 now, as large as it's been all day, as the freshman hits 1 of 2. And now a steal here as again it's Malone getting her hands on it. Ward in transition, traveled with it. But you talk about it from a history perspective, what they've got an opportunity to snap, a 39-year drought. But then just think about the future for this team as a nice move into the lane from Ella Smith goes begging on the runner. There's only one senior on the roster. Emily Dogbatzi is the only senior. Jada Malone, supremely talented, getting to the hoop. Now doubling up St. Agnes's TVS. Malone is only a junior. Timberland Criswell, only a junior. Sydney Ward, only a sophomore, as a nice finish there by Chinelo Ume. Makes it a 24-point game once again. Only 4 points here in the third quarter from St. Agnes Academy as they've been outscored 17-4 as the lead is now ballooned to 24. Aiken Simones, only a junior. Riley Grays, who we've marveled at here in the second half, only a freshman. There is tons of talent on this roster, and it's almost all coming back next year. So if they're able to win a title this year, they may be able to follow it up with another next year.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing, too. You got St. Agnes, who, as Coach as Coach Hollinger said, is kind of here on borrowed time, on house money. This is going to help them as well in the long run. Be able to take this experience, build on it into the off-season, really help these girls know, hey, we got a chance. Even though you have a team like the Village School or, Concordia Lumen in your district, we can do it. We just got to work hard, continue to get better, continue to play better as a team. Anything's possible.
To your point, all 5 starters for St. Agnes are underclassmen as the layup is missed there by Jada Malone. 3 juniors and 2 sophomores in St. Agnes' starting lineup, so all of them are coming back. Mesa into the lane. Layup won't go. Rebound pulled down, and drawing the foul is Jordan Jones. Ellie Cannon is a senior for St. Agnes. Kathleen Peckham, who we haven't seen a whole lot of today, is a senior. Jordan Williams, number 14, a senior, and Lauren Peralez, number 15, a senior. And then Isabel Wynn as well. But all 5 of their starters back next year for St. Agnes Academy. 48.4 to play here, third quarter, as the first free throw is missed by Jordan Jones. It was not that long ago that this game was 27-22 in favor of the Village School. Since then, a 25-6 extended run to, for all intents and purposes, put this basketball game away.
Yeah, and then you have to give it to St. Agnes. They gave it the best shot, and they're still hustling, but, cream is going to rise to the top, and obviously the Village School is just they're just that much better.
Right.
That
is just the long and short of it, is they just have more talent. But, man, the effort that the Tigers have put in, and still are putting in, by the way, that hasn't changed. It's just that eventually the Village School started connecting a little bit more consistently. But the effort that they've put in and the way that they played in that first half to be in this basketball game for 2 full quarters was extremely impressive. Ball knocked out of bounds by Aiken Simones, so it'll stay with St. Agnes here. 21.3 on the clock, third quarter.
Malone's going to take a seat. It's a good idea by Coach Brotherton. The thing is, whoever you're going to see tomorrow is probably going to have a little bit better post defense. So giving, Jada a break right now probably isn't a terrible idea. They know they're going to, pretty darn good shot making it to tomorrow. So may go to his bench a little bit more often.
Yeah, at this point, it would take a miracle for that to not be the case. Nice finish there by Ella Smith.
Still competing. That's what you want to see.
No doubt. And I don't expect to see anything else as the 3 at the buzzer from Ward is missed. Quite an effort from St. Agnes, but a big third quarter from the Village School to open this one up. 52-30 through 3 quarters of play. We'll be back on TAPS TV. To 30 the score through 3 quarters of play, I beg your pardon, as we start the 4th quarter of the 6A TAPS semifinals. St. Agnes Academy and the Village School, the number 1 team in the state. The Vikings with a 52-30 lead through 3 quarters of play. St. Agnes with possession to start the final frame, and trailing by 22. They're going to be firing at will, you have to imagine, and finishing, and the foul is Ellis Smith. So a good start to the quarter at the very least for St. Agnes. Tigers have got a long uphill climb, but credit to Jeffrey Hollinger and company. They are still just as fired up as they were in the second quarter when it was a 5-point game.
Yeah, he's doing a great job coaching his kids up. You know, he knows that probably not gonna come back in this one, but working with his kids, encouraging them.
As back the other way comes Criswell. She's now got 28 on the day. Lead back to 22. 3-pointer missed short from Natalie Mesa.
Been impressive to watch Village here in the second half, really able to get some steals, get some stops on defense, and doing a great job really playing, I think, a lot more unselfishly on offense, really sharing the ball, getting some getting some points in transition.
Ward's drive ends in a loose ball on the baseline. It'll be a jump ball that'll keep it on this end for the Village School. And a timeout called by Doug Brotherton. 30-second timeout for the head coach and the number 1 seed out of District 4. St. Agnes, the number 4 seed out of that same district, knocked off Concordia Lutheran in the regional final, who was the 2 seed out of District 4. And Incarnate Word, also in that district, the 3 seed, is who the Village School beat on their way here to the state semifinals. So the top 4 teams out of the same district were your 4 final teams from that side of the bracket. Every team from District 3 was dispatched of rather quickly. Matter of fact, as I take a look through the bracket, not a single District 3 team won a playoff game this year. District 4 ran the table. And as a result, 2 of their teams meet here in the state semis. The Village School well on their way to the state championship game, as that one got knocked out of the hands of Emily Dogbazzi, but they say it went off her leg and out of bounds. So back to St. Agnes it goes. Down 22. Long way to go for them with 7:21 and moving here in the 4th quarter. Cross court. Williams inside for Ellis Smith, and she finishes.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, really hustling, really attacking the Village.
Criswell can't finish. Rebound fought for, Riley Grays has it taken away, and it's Smith in transition. Nice look underneath, and the layup will go for Jordan Jones.
They're giving him every punch they can take. It's going to be another basket there by the freshman for Village.
Grays just continues to impress. Lead back to 20. Cross court, three-pointer on the way. Williams can't hit. Took forever for a whistle there, but it's a jump ball.
Yeah, that was the longest jump ball whistle I've seen, but I guess nobody was really trying to tie it up.
Possession arrow to the Village School. Although, and I think Jeffrey Hollinger is making a reasonable argument here. I thought the last jump ball went to the Village School.
Looks like the book is saying that it is.
Yep. It didn't seem right when I saw the possession arrow pointing that way.
Nobody's perfect. It happens.
Although they're still trying to sort this out. There's still not a consensus here, as Doug Brotherton tries to argue that it should be Viking basketball. And it would seem that they're about to change it back.
This is very confusing. I don't know what's going on.
The fans are confused. The officials are confused. The scorer table is confused. Doug Brotherton is maybe the most confused and certainly the most frustrated.
I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on anymore. What game are we at?
St. Agnes basketball. Not sure how they came to the conclusion. Now the possession arrow is in the direction of the Village School, so we'll remember next time, I'm sure.
I hope so.
And a drawing a foul is Natalie Mesa as she cuts across the lane. She'll head to the free throw line to shoot two. Trailing by 20, so there's still slim chance if we're being realistic here, but credit to St. Agnes, they keep fighting. 6:11 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, and that tells you and just shows you the culture of the St. Agnes basketball program. Coach Hollinger really coaching his girls up still, getting them to compete, even though the game, I wouldn't say it's fully, out of their grasp yet, but, it's hard to really close this 20-point gap in between these teams. But it's just great to see them competing no matter what.
Hollinger coaching in his sixth Final Four, probably the most surprising of the six. Nice feed, post to post, and the finish by the freshman Grays. You mentioned it earlier when we were off the air. Just the idea of putting Jada Malone and Riley Grays on the floor at the same time. Good luck to any defense trying to contend with that. And it's a great look from Malone to Grays, bucket and the foul. And the free throw goes to make it a 22-point lead once again. That is as large as we have seen it today. Just under 6 to play here in the fourth. And the pass too tall. Jordan Williams throws it over the head of Chinelo Ume, and it goes back to the Village School. So TVS poised to move on to the state championship game. They'll play the winner of our next broadcast, John Paul II out of Plano and Prestonwood Christian Academy. That game set to tip off at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Good ball movement there by the Village School.
Leads to an open shot there from Criswell, but she can't finish. But the putback by the freshman, Riley Grays, is showing out today.
Great job on the rebound and putting it back. That was excellent hustle, excellent fundamental basketball right there.
Just over 5 minutes to play. And now a tip away by Grays, and it leads to a steal for Simones. Criswell running the floor. Corner three. Ward misses long. Now a foul on the floor as Jada Malone was going for the loose ball.
little under 5 minutes left to go. Still a 24-point lead for the Vikings. St. Agnes going to take some time, talk it over. Going to be a full timeout.
Meanwhile, 10 points on the day for Riley Grays, all of them coming in the second half as the freshman who averages a double-double. Imagine that. She's a 6'3" freshman who averages a double-double off the bench. Mm-hmm. How many schools around the country can boast that kind of potential for their future?
In high school? Not a lot.
I'm not sure there's a whole lot of college programs that have freshmen doing that kind of thing. 61-37 the score here midway through quarter number 4. The Village School well on their way to win number 36 of the year and a berth in the state championship game. Again, trying to become the first Houston area team to win a TAPS 6A state championship since St. Agnes did it in 1981, trying to end a 39-year drought.
And here's the thing, that exists even before TAPS did, because TAPS was around since the mid-'80s, but a lot of these Catholic high schools especially were in the TCIL for a long time. So,
right, yeah, the way that he went back through the history was to basically say like the largest classification in private school girls basketball. Obviously, for most of that time, that's been in TAPS and in 6A. But yeah, to your point, that even predates the history of TAPS. Loose ball underneath. Somehow it ends up back with Ella Smith. She throws it up and draws the foul. Tell you, I'm impressed by Ella Smith. She's got a smooth game, plays hard as heck. And Jeffrey Hollinger said she's just a film rat. He said he'll receive text messages from her at all hours of the day with something that she noticed from watching film. Free throw rims out on her. But just a talented sophomore who's got a big future for this Tigers basketball program. Won state last year with the softball program as well. As she hits the second free throw and lead back down to 23. It's all academic at this point, but still lots of credit to St. Agnes for the fight that they showed today. Block called as Jada Malone drove down the left side of the lane. Natalie Mesa called for the foul.
Puts Malone at the basket for 2 free throws. As I said, one of the top juniors, I think number 36 ranked ESPN Hoop Girls ranking for 2021 class.
So in winning this game, the Village School will move on to face the winner of JP2 and Prestonwood Christian. JP2, the number 4 team in the state. Prestonwood Christian, number 6 in the state, according to the TABC rankings. 62-38 off of the 1 of 2 trip at the free throw line, by the way. Ella Smith can't finish in the lane. Under 4 to play here in the fourth quarter. Grays, lefty layup won't go. Tried to pull down the offensive board, it escapes her. And here comes Ella Smith in transition. Throws it up and draws another foul.
One thing you can't, fault Agnes on is they are continuing to push the ball up the floor, continuing to attack the basket. They're not letting this one go quietly. I mean, obviously, 24-point game, probably not going to bring this one back, but man, they just love to continue to see the hustle from them.
First free throw goes for Ella Smith. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. It'll be Criswell still in the basketball game. You kind of wonder why keep Criswell and Jada Malone and some of your better players on the floor at this point in a game that is very clearly over when you've got a state championship to play tomorrow.
Well, I think the answer to that one is look at their bench. I mean, Village has 4 on the bench, and at least 2 of those are starters. And then you look at St. Agnes, they've got 7 or 8 on the bench, with a couple of them being contributors. So I think it comes down to depth.
Yeah, they only had 10 players on the roster to start the year, the Village School did, and Carly Sampson, who was a 3-year starter for this program, tore her ACL in December. She's sitting on the bench in sweat clothes. So only 4 eligible bench players coming into the game. But I still would think, you know what? Let's maybe take your 2 best players in Criswell and Malone off the floor at the very least. And maybe that's exactly what's going to happen here is Simona. But Simona's one of their starters about to check into the basketball game. I guess, you look at the schedule. They play the 6A Girls State Championship game at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. So you're going to have about 22 hours to rest up, maybe, and be right back here tomorrow. It's not here. It's at West High School tomorrow. I don't know. You'd think you'd want to be as rested as possible with your key players. Free throw goes on the first of 2. As Ella Smith converts on the front end of the 1-and-1. Second one goes as well.
Still 21-point lead for the Vikings. Shot goes, no good.
Just into the basketball game for the first time today, Anastasia Yefamenko, a junior captain for this team. Doug Brotherton says she's very important from a leadership perspective, but obviously doesn't see the floor a ton. Just checking into the game right now, under 3 minutes to play in the fourth. But good to get her a little bit of run in a situation like this. We also haven't seen much of Amina Sai today.
Yeah, unless her is a 5'10" freshman. I mean, I don't know how they grow them down in Houston, but a lot taller than they used to be.
2:20 on the clock here in the fourth quarter as we play out the string in the 6A state semifinals. St. Agnes Academy, unranked in the state, the number 4 seed out of District 4, went on a fantastic run through these playoffs, knocking off the number 1 seed out of District 3. Nice feed inside, wide open is Jada Malone, and she lays it in. But that run comes to an end today against the buzzsaw that is the Village School. Criswell with the steal here. Simones couldn't finish. Criswell's offensive board went begging as well, and now a foul here that's going to send Ella Smith back to the free throw line for 2. Even under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a 23-point basketball game, Jeffrey Hollinger's coaching hard over there. I mean, this is an opportunity for them to build within the program, too. We talk about how young their team is, certainly how young their starting lineup is. You can use this as a springboard. Obviously, today's not going their way, but you can use this to launch your 2020-2021 campaign and continue to build your program to the point where maybe a year from now you can contend with a team like the Village School.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it gives you a chance to really go into your off season, really, finish with a good, capital effort on it. Even though you didn't win the game, you were able to play a team within about 20 points that you lost to by 50 only a month earlier.
Yep.
So, really, you can see the tangible improvements you've made. And that's, I know, for coaching staff and for kids as well, is huge.
Nice feed on the right-hand side of the lane there to find Amina Sai. It was Criswell, who else, making a great play for the Village School. Mesa can't hit. Gets it back. Step back three, and that's going to miss short.
And the thing is, you look at it, a lot of these girls, probably do, maybe another sport in the fall or spring, spend some time in the summer, doing their own interests. You've got, Mesa, who's a junior, number 55. She's a surfer in the off season. So you've got, people that are really good athletes, but you're able to put together a good finish to this season, and as you said, start to the next one. You go into, springtime, you go into summer ball. It just gives you a good ending to finish on, even though, it's not the ending with a state championship.
Meanwhile, Ella Smith has done a heck of a job of getting to the free throw line here in the fourth quarter. Her fourth trip in the last couple of minutes here, and she hits the first.
Yeah, she's doing a great job being aggressive, not just playing passive. A lot of people when they get to the fourth quarter and, a 20-point ball game, they kind of coach their way in, but these guys are really hustling still.
She hits both and then checks out of the basketball game. 15 points on the day for Ella Smith in a very nice effort. Just over a minute to play as the Village School gets set to move on to the state championship game. Criswell couldn't finish there in the lane. Still playing hard right to the finish.
Looked like they were playing hot potato there.
And Hollinger's going to call timeout.
Can't take them with you. Might as well use them.
Criswell had 22 in the first half. We don't have live stats here, so I'll see if I can tally this up real quick. 26, 28. I believe 28 is where she's sitting at the moment. Indeed, Timberland Criswell, 28 points on the day. Helping to lead her team to a 66-44 lead and well on their way to a win here today in the state semifinal. They move on to face the winner of John Paul II and Prestonwood Christian. That game coming up in about 45 minutes here on TAPS TV. This game has apparently moved much quicker than every other game we've had so far today. I understand there's a bigger gap between the 1:30 and the 4 o'clock game, but this game has seemed to fly by.
Well, it's been good, fast action. A game we saw in the 4A semifinal, the second one between Trinity Christian and Lubbock Christian. It was pretty fast-paced too, but had a lot more fouls called. This one, just been good action all the way through.
There have been quite a few fouls called here in the fourth quarter. That whistle not for a foul, but they're going to key the inbounds once again. Baseline for Boatwright. Back up top for Williams. Ellie Cannon into the lane. Misses short. Gets her own rebound. The putback won't go either. Grays with the rebound, but traveled with it. And it'll stay on that end.
Yeah, a lot of these girls that are in right now for St. Agnes, some of their bench players getting a little playing time here in the fourth quarter.
Ellie Cannon can't hit the three. That will go, though, for Jordan Williams, who buries the triple. Williams is a senior. That'll go down as her final shot. Not a bad way to finish off her high school career. And Timberland Criswell will back away from the hoop and let the final 8 seconds roll off the clock here as the Village School, number 1 in the state, and 36-3 now, advance to the state championship game with a 66-47 win over St. Agnes.
Great job by both schools. Definite hustle seen on the floor by both teams. Obviously, we knew coming in this game, Village probably come out as the victor, and they did. They played well for the most part. Definitely enjoyed seeing them make the changes in the second half where they played more unselfishly, really hustled on the defensive end. They're going to have to play that way tomorrow if they want to win the state championship. They got there last year, but weren't able to, cap it off with a win against, a pretty tough Bishop Lynch team from last year. So now they're going to get a chance to to get that title, but they're going to have to really play a good four-quarter ball game against the winner, as we said, of later's game at 4 p.m., the John Paul II of Plano and Prestonwood Christian Academy of Plano, winner of that game. And that game will be at 4 p.m., so we'll see you guys back here in about 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're only halfway done with day number 1.
Yeah, but it's been a good day so far.
Yeah.
Hadn't been a lot of blowouts. Been good and competitive games. We got 4A decided, ready to play tomorrow, 6A's halfway through, and then later today, at 6 and 8 p.m., we'll see the 2A's go at it. So, a good start to a great weekend of basketball.
Today, though, here in the first 6A semifinal, it is the Village School, number 1 in the state, behind 28 points from Timberland Criswell, moving on to the state championship game. Congratulations, of course, to Jeffrey Hollinger and the St. Agnes Academy squad for their fantastic run through these playoffs. But it comes to an end today at the hands of the Village School, who moves on to the title game. 6A state championship game number 2 coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll see you back here on TAPS TV.
Number 14, Jordan Williams. Number 15, Lauren Perales. Number 20, Samantha Myers. Number 22, Isabel Wynn. Number 23, Ella Smith. Number 30, Janelle Goulet. Number 44, Francis Boatwright. Number 50, Jordan Jones. And number 55, Natalie Mesa. Assistant coaches, Valencia Dunn, Chelsea Bass, and Walter Gordy. Congratulations once again